and believe in me, so that they may be righted, they may be rightly guided.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce the leader of the Presbyterian Church that is around down the street from us, and he's been a colleague of ours for many years. He's the head of Queen's Power, which is an advocacy group that addresses the social issues that we have here in Queens. And I'd like for him to say a prayer in the Christian faith. Reverend Patrick O'Connor, please say a prayer.
Peace be unto you. Thank you for welcoming me to this gathering. First Presbyterian Church was started a long time ago with an intention of serving all people. And it has been a privilege to partner with the members of the Muslim community, and especially with ICNA, in serving those in the downtown. Let us look to God. Oh God, you meet us in this season in our journey. And as you meet us, you invite us to come honestly to you. Oh God, remove any limitations that hinder us from harmony and fellowship. And may we, inspired by your presence, work for justice, right, and improvement for all humanity. You are the God who loves us all. And as we, in our faith, celebrate your great love for all humanity, we pray that you might inspire us to share the love that comes from God with all people. So bless our fellowship and bless our time together. This we pray in the way we understand you. Amen. Amen.
Thank you. And as you know, this is an interfaith gathering, and we would hope that one of the rabbis would have been here by now. But God willing, it's okay. Thank you for coming to this momentous occasion. This is the first time the Islamic Circle of North America has had the honor of inviting not only politicians that hold important offices in our city government, also faith leaders from the Christian and Jewish faiths. I want to welcome you all. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce our host, the Islamic Circle of North America, New York President, and the Director of ICNA Headquarters, Mohammed Tariq Rahman.
I just want to say thank you. I have seen a lot of brothers after a long time, especially our Jamaica Muslim Center's leadership here, all their boards, president, secretary, and also our church leadership from Manhattan, and Derek Miller, our ex-councilman. And all brothers and sisters who made it today here. And we're expecting more guests will be coming. I want to thank you from our communities. This is a very important occasions while we break fast. after all day fasting. And when you share your bread with us, it's honor for us. It's, as Brother Imam was already explained, that fasting show us the kindness towards others, those in need. So this is very important for us to understand that people who live around us, we need to understand their need. And if my fasting is not helping them to take care of the need, then my fasting is not good. My fasting is taking care of my neighbors. My fasting is taking care of my relatives. My fasting is taking good care of who are in need. That's the fasting is. And this is our teachings, and we like to follow that teachings with you all together. We are a community. It doesn't matter which religion you belong, it doesn't matter what color of your skin is. We came from one mother and we'll go underground one day. Every one of us has to go there. Whatever his belief is doesn't matter, but it matters once we are gone, because that's the day after the day of judgment. We all will be judged by our deeds. So I pray that we all follow whatever religion we have, the good deeds, to be kind to one another, to understand each other's needs and address those needs. Thank you very much again for coming together.
Once again, I thank you. I'd like to give acknowledgement to and have the leadership of JMC. Assalamu alaikum, Tariq. The leadership of JMC, would you please stand so people could know who you are? This is one of the very top messages. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is anyone here from Muna? Is anyone here from Muna yet?
Not yet.
And my B is not here. I'd like to have St. Stephen's Episcopal Church, our new Reverend Conan, Reverend Walker, would you please stand so people can see you? This is our neighbor from right around the corner. This is church around the corner.
I think I will ask my members to stand.
Okay, well, please have them stand also. Okay, and see how well represented they are. Okay, we thank you, we thank you, we thank you for coming. As Brother Tariq said, we do have, okay, and we also have the Vice President of SEQMC here. Would you please stand? The Southeast Queens Muslim Collective. Then we have Iman Ayub Baki from Tahi Center. Would you please stand so these people can see you too, my brother? No. This is one of my closest friends here. Some of you may not know, but this is a sacred season for all three of the Abrahamic faiths. ICNA has become a member, excuse me, before I, Community Affairs Officer Costa, and I don't know the brother's name, Joseph, please stand so Jones, so the community can see who you are also. I know Officer Costa very well. He's been with us for many years. Okay, thank you. ICNA is a part of an organization that is close to 30 years old, if not older. It's called the Partnerships of Faith. And in our meetings, we have coined this gathering called Sacred Seasons Convergence. Now, without really further ado, I want to introduce my friend, my companion, Dr. Mohammed Hatim. He is the co-leader of the Partnerships of Faith, along with Josh. Okay, all right, inshallah, okay. And he's going to give a brief history of the organization and its importance of our community here in New York City. And what we're doing here is This is going to be a series of 3 meetings that we're going to have at a synagogue and a church within the next 2 or 3 months. I also would like to, before I have him stand up and speak, I'd like to have Reverend Forbes from, she's the president of Community Board 12. Please stand so people can see you. See, you know, community boards are very important for what happens in our neighborhoods. So y'all need to see who these leaders are. So in case you have some issues that you can come and say something to. I'm a member of Community Board 12. So also my Muslim brothers and sisters, as well as my Christian brothers and sisters. Our Jewish brothers and sisters have not arrived as of yet. But if you have some issues, bring them to us so we can take a look at it and examine it, investigate, and see what we can do for you. Okay, but again, without further ado, here's Dr. Imam Muhammad Atem.
Assalamu alaikum. If you don't mind, I'll stay seated. I'm having some physical issues standing. So on behalf of the Partnership of Faith in New York and its 3 co-chairs, that's Rabbi Joshua Davison, who can't be with us today, he's traveling, and the Reverend Jared Stoller from St. Peter's Lutheran Church, and myself, Imam Muhammad Hatton. I'm a Family Circle Islamic Community representative. I want to greet you all to this unique iftar. We express much of our felt appreciation for the Islamic Circle of North America for hosting us in this event, and to the many people who have come to experience Ramadan with us. A Partnership of Faith in New York is a group of religious leaders of congregation representatives from diverse communities in New York City. We join together without political partnerships for the purpose of creating a more loving and just, humane city. We are committed to enhancing our understanding of one another and furthering cooperation among ourselves as individuals and congregations. We do this by building bridges over the many religious, racial, cultural, and economic chasms that seek to divide us as a city. And modeling a prophetic stance, we unite our voices on behalf of justice, peace, and healing for the city of New York. We meet on a regular basis on the 2nd Tuesday of each month as appropriate. A little bit of the background, the partnership was founded in 1991. Prior to its creation, those of you may remember that the city was steeped in different types of racial turmoil. For instance, you may remember Mayor Koch had closed the Harlem Sydenham Hospital, and that had caused some dismay among doctors and nurses in the city, as many of the doctors at the hospital were minorities. 3 Black men, William Turks, a transit worker in Sheephead Bay, Michael Griffin in Howard Beach, and Yusef Hawkins in Bensonhurst died at the hands of white mobs in the 1980s. Racial murders were supposed to be a thing of the past. January 12, 1991, the Reverend Sharpton escaped serious injury when he was stabbed in the chest in the schoolyard of PS 205. And he was preparing to lead a protest through the Italian-American neighborhoods in Bensonhurst. Then there were some tensions in Brooklyn when an automobile accident struck 2 children and 1 died by a Hasidic motorcade that caused some strife in the cities. Mayor Dinkins was elected in New York in 1990-91. He called for peaceful resolution of issues and racial harmony. As a response, Dr. Arthur Caliandro from the Marble Collegiate Church in Manhattan, Reverend James, Dr. Forbes from Riverside Church, and Rabbi Marshall Myers from B'nai Jeshurun formed, and then Reverend Daughtry from the House of the Lord, and Mount Talib Abdul Rashid from the Islamic Brotherhood, answered the call by forming the Partnership of Faith in New York City. And to my knowledge, it is the first and longest lasting organization of Muslim Christians and Jews in the metropolitan area. Now, specifically Abrahamic Muslim Christians and Jews. There are a couple of organizations that say that are interfaith, that may include Hindus and Buddhists and other traditions. But in terms of the Abrahamic traditions, the Partnership of Faith is the longest lasting. Some of the accomplishments we've done over the years: we've held interfaith seminars at the Mohawk Mountain House in New Paltz for a number of years. We visit congregations in their respective houses of worship, as we're experiencing here. We held youth conferences on race and religion. We did cable interviews and were interviewed by the New York Times editorial staff on various occasions. We issued press releases on the attacks on the houses of worship, hate speech, and related injustices. And for a number of years, we held a trialogue. A trialogue was a discussion between Muslim Christians and Jews on issues that were affecting them and also New York City. On the evening of September 11, 2001, that attack, the Partnership of Faith didn't have to call around and find out what religious people could come together to help to heal the city. By that evening, we were on the phone with each other, talking about what could we do to bring the New York City together, to bring the healing together for this community given this great attack. And on September 18th, just a few days after the attack, during the morning service of Rosh Hashanah at Temple Emmanuel, Dr. Ronald Sobel, the senior rabbi, was joined by the Honorable Kofi Annan, then Secretary General of the United Nations, Sheikh Abdul Latif Ali, the Admiral Family Circle Islamic Community, Father James Lundgren, Director of the Commission of Economical and Interreligious Affairs for the Archdiocese of New York, and Dr. Arthur Caliandro, then Senior Minister of the Marble Collegiate Church, Dr. Thomas K. T. Senior Pastor of the Fifth Avenue Presbyterian Church, and the Honorable Yehuda Lankri, then an Israeli ambassador to the United Nations. They held a meeting to discuss and bring healing and bringing the city together. I became involved with the partnership primarily through Sheikh Dr. Abdul Latif Ali. May Allah be pleased with him. Sheikh headed the Admiral family for a number of years, and he also, at the time, was the Secretary General of the Majlis of Shura, the Islamic Leadership Council of New York. Through my affiliation with the organization, Dr. Ibrahim Abdul Malik and I, may Allah be pleased with him, were able to be part of an interfaith delegation to Israel to look at the status of the Palestinians and the Israeli. There were no preconceived kinds of notions or ideas. We were asked to come and form our own opinions. We had no obligations. And we did a rather thorough investigation on our own, meeting with members of the Knesset, also meeting with the people from the Palestinian Authority, the leadership, talking with people in the street, talking with Israeli Arabs, and forming our own opinions about the situation. And because we were there, we were also able to visit friends at Al-Azhar University in Egypt. I had intended to take some time while I was there to travel down the Nile. That never happened. Once we got to Al-Azhar and we saw our friends, they wouldn't let us go. So we had to stay there. So I'm very grateful to my affiliation with the partnership for allowing that to happen. The other thing that I'm very proud of is that through the partnership, we were able to facilitate for 2 or 3 years, a meeting of the African American community through an organization called Upper Ebony, that I happen to be on the board of, and the Jewish community at Stephen Wise Synagogue. And we brought together for a number of years, from a cultural perspective, the rabbis and cantors, and then the opera singers who put together several programs where we could share the music and also present some of the Negro spirituals. Another great thing I'm very excited about, having been close to the partnership, that during the Bloomberg administration, we were able to reinter some of the remains from the African burial ground. Now, you may be aware that there's an African burial ground memorial or monument, federal facility that's at Chambers Street and Duane. And they buried some 400 and so remains of the African ancestors. However, years after they closed the cemetery, they found or discovered some more as they were digging outside the area closer to Center Street. And they housed those remains for many years at the courthouse. Can't think of the name of the courthouse right now. Right there on Chambers. The Tweed Courthouse, the old Tweed Courthouse, for a number of years. Well, since I was tangentially involved with the African burial ground and working with Dr. Michael Blakey, who was the scientific director at the time, I was aware that those remains were not put in the ground. So almost for 15 years, I kept badgering the city. What are you going to do with my remains, my ancestors? Why don't you put those in the ground? What's happening with that? So during the Bloomberg administration, there was some construction that took place at City Hall, the park. And they discovered there's some other remains from workhouse, arms house. So then I approached the city again, and Mayor Bloomberg and his staff said, this is a great time for us to bring all of those remains together. So if you'll notice that at the corner of Chambers, at City Hall Park, at the corner of Chambers and Center Street, there's a plaque there that commemorates the fact that we were able to put those remains back in the ground of our ancestors and the ancestors of the people from the alms house and the prison. Now this is significant in part because those remains were buried together. The remains with the Africans and the other people at that time. And it was the Partnership of Faith that was asked to do the ceremony. And we did it quietly. We did it very quietly, and we'll always be appreciative to Mayor Bloomberg and his administration for that. And finally, during the COVID crisis, Reverend Brenda Huston and Reverend Timothy Weissman from the Evangelical Church of the Holy Trinity were concerned about the people in the Potter's Field, the people who they were just holding people, no names, because of the COVID. So they, along with their congregations, actually started a whole effort to identify graves for those people, and also the different monuments for holding the urns and saying prayers for those people, and started a little movement to do that. And that was with the Partnership of Faith. As Muslims, we're told that if we see an evil, that we should change it with our hand. If we're not able to do so, then we should change it with our tongue. And if we can't do that, then we should change it with our heart. And we're told that that's the weakest form of faith. So if you permit me to cite a little bit from the Ephesians 6. One of the things that the partnership has agreed to do, leadership and also with the congregations, is to dedicate the season. The brother talked about that this was a holy season. It's a holy season for Muslims, Christians, and Jews. The Christians have already started Lent, and soon they'll be coming upon the Holy Week after Palm Sunday. The Muslims now are doing the fasting for the Ramadan, and soon our Jewish brothers will be holding the Feast of Passover. So what we decided to do is something called intentional prayer. As a Muslim, I'm required to say prayers 5 times a day. We do that. Sometimes we know, oh, it's time for prayer. We just go to say the prayer. However, intentional prayer is what we're looking at. I personally have committed myself to dedicate intentional prayer during the month of Ramadan, specifically for those who are substance use disorder, opiate crisis, and for people with mental health issues. So some of the other people are using this time, some of the Christians are going to focus on maybe homelessness or focus on domestic violence or gun violence. So I'm asking all of you, whatever your faith traditions, individually and collective, to become what the Ephesians calls to put on the whole armor of God, put on the whole armor of God and the shield of faith and the sword of the Spirit, and dedicate some portion, all of it. You decide what you want to dedicate it on. But we want to become, during this sacred period, spiritual warriors, faith warriors, whatever the faith is. Faith warriors, and to pray with intention and asking the creator of the universe, and however you address your higher power, asking them to shed mercy and love on the city of New York. And we want to be, again, if you allow me, we want to be doers of the word and not hearers only. So I invite you to join us this season with intentional prayer of your own choosing for the healing of the city of New York. Thank you for your attention. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you for the long arc of an important arc of the partnership's work. It is a gift to be here today. It's a gift to be together, the three of our faiths. We wish that Rabbi Davidson could have been here. We, as Mohammed said, we meet every second Tuesday of the month, and it's a gathering really of the faith leaders. And this night and our visit to a church and our visit to a synagogue are about extending that. And so it's great to see so many people with us, and we're looking forward. We have the event on May 7th is at the Church of St. Agnes, very close to Grand Central Terminal. And then on June 4th, a visit to Temple Emmanuel. Both of those are in the afternoons. So get in touch with your faith leaders. We're glad to be together this afternoon, this evening. And we're very much looking forward to these other two opportunities to be together as not only leaders of faith, that's what the partnership is, but really people of faith in New York City. And so we're hoping that tonight is the beginning of more time with one another. And so please do join us for those next two events.
I'm going to introduce our former council member who has been our friend for many a year, and he's still our friend and still working with us behind the scenes. He was up front before, but now he's behind the scenes. But Danique Miller, our brother in faith.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening and welcome to ICNA. It's so good to be back here with the family, with the community. And thank you. I just want to thank Imam Baki, because when you're out of public service and you no longer have a scheduler and all those things there, I was running home, preparing, and it popped up on the phone. And in my mind, I was going to show up tomorrow for Juma, and it popped up, so I'm here. So thank you, Imam Baki. It gives me an opportunity to say thank you to so many of our community partners that allowed us to do all the things that we collectively, as people of faith, are here tonight. And what was just discussed, and as I look around the room, and as I reflect on some of the things that we were able to do during the 8 years that I served this community and served in the city council, I think it represents all the tenets of people of faith. And so we've done all those things. We went through our food pantries that we've fed the hungry. and that we've made our community safe, and that we've even took care of those who suffered from domestic violence. We had social and human services right here at this masjid here, including immigration services and things that we've done that really, for me, allowed to, as an introduction to Islam, to the new neighbors in the community. And I think that made that seamless. One of the things I'm most proud of as I look over and I see my brother Reverend O'Connor over there is that we were able to house homeless as well, right? So that we've created not just affordable housing that we've seen, that we've taken care of all those that truly is the least of us, that we were able to collectively work to make sure that we were taking care of those folks, and it is my doors that Allah finds those, that this work that we've done collectively, that Allah finds it pleasing. And before I go, I always say that, I'm asked about my tenure, my time, and the legacy of the, by the way, Reverend Thorpe could not have done it without CB12 and the work that happens and occurs there. So all these community partners are so absolutely important in Southeast Queens Collective, Sally. And Brother Jones, I won't forget you. Mark is obviously a mainstay, but Jones has been around here as well for quite a while. But as I'm asked about my tenure in the council and what that legacy is, and people look around, they look at all the development here in downtown Jamaica. Is it the housing? Is it transportation? Is it, all these other things, the brick and mortars? And I answer it is the human capital. It is the human capital. It is the men, the women, and in particular the next generation that guarantee that this work is done in perpetuity. And so, and I think by the folk that are in this room tonight, that is validated, that the work will continue to get done. So I say thank you, Chicago.
We would like the president of Jamaica Muslim Center to say a few words, please.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, as-salatu was-salamu ala rasulihil kareem. Assalamu alaikum. Dear respected brothers and sisters, we are really thankful to ICNA for organize this nice, we can say party, because the food is still waiting in front of us, but we are not eating. It is halal for us, but until the sunset, it is haram for us now. And you are honoring it. Thank you, all of you. And the Interfaith, the people who is giving the description, what they are doing, they did very excellent job. Thank you. I'm not giving any speech, just sharing some little my thought. Just think couple of days ago what happened in Nashville. Elementary school kids, they are killed. Junior school, high school, university, our mall, everywhere is killing. Why? New York City is deteriorating, the crime rate is skyrocketing. Everywhere is the problem. The drugs, the overdose, our kids are dying. Mid-20s, every day we are hearing about it. What is going on? Government is trying their level best. The mayor, he came a couple of times with us and I talked with him. And looks like they're exhausted. Why this city is happening? Why that our country is going down like that way? Everywhere is the problem, the gun violence, this and that. How and who can solve this problem? Honestly, this religious group can help this kind of thing. If the people's mind, if the moral value is not increased, then nothing will be changed. No matter how many police is over here, how many government fund is there, it will not work out. If our moral value is not changed, if our children don't know how to respect their elders, If they don't know what is right, what is wrong, then our city will be deteriorating day by day. Only the religion, Islam, the Christianity, the Judaism, they are always from the all same root. And we believe in same God. And God sent us to salvation of the people. What we are doing now, we have to do a lot of more. We have to teach our young generation. This is right, this is wrong. They don't know what is wrong, right and wrong. They think that's, okay, I have the gun, I can kill any person. Why this thing comes in their mind? This is our responsibility. We have to knock them. I don't know, this country somehow is the problem that we cannot go to our public school or something, but we have to find out. We have to increase the moral value. They have to know what is right and what is wrong. If we all together work, by the mercy of Allah, inshallah, our country will be again be better shape. Jazakallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Reverend Thorpe, would you like to say a couple of words?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for extending an invitation, Dr. Musa, and to everyone, to all the clergy that is here, and to all the visitors. I agree with my brother. As people of faith, we have to lean in. We have to lean in. We have to pray more. We have to show unity even in the streets. When there's a need, there's always a need. So we need to do a prayer walk, but we need to all walk together. And the community needs to see it. We need more of this. Breaking bread together, meeting together, coming out together. Because the issues that we are addressing are not just issues from my neighborhood and not yours. It's me today, it's you tomorrow. And so if we come together as people of faith and address what needs to be addressed, we're bringing God into the midst. And we always want him to be present. The world is trying to do things by their hands. And we know the reality is we need God to move his hand. And that's what we need to call on. Even though I sit at a government table, when I walk in the room and when we go on Zoom or anything else, I'm asking for his wisdom. I'm asking for his understanding. I'm asking for his direction. So I know what to do for his people. In this district, Community Board 12 covers 400,000 people, 36 different languages. I have to move and be a person for all people. And so we have to work together. I ask for your continued prayers. I ask for you to come to the community board meetings, sit in, listen, ask your questions, give us your ideas so that we can move and work and shift together. Prayer changes all things. Prayer levels the field. Government does what government can do, but we have to do what we know to do, bow our knees, talk to our God, take his direction, and go on from there. Thank you.
I'm going to introduce, Danique Miller had mentioned him, but he's the assistant imam at the Mosque of Islamic Brotherhood, and he's here representing one of the oldest members of the Partnership of Faith, Imam Talib Abdul Rashid. And this is Imam Dr. Michael DeVoe.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد الحمد لله. As has been said, I'm a member of the Mosque Islamic Brotherhood in the village of Harlem, and I'm here basically on behalf of Imam Talib Abdul Rashid, who is the senior imam of that masjid. Although I've not been a regular participant in this interfaith activity, on my own travels and growth and development, I was a student at the New York Theological Seminary. And as a student at the New York Theological Seminary, we learned about interfaith activities. Basically, it's a Christian organization. So that said, suggests that we have a master's degree in Christian theology. But I say all that to say primarily that for me, it is knowledge knowledge of our Lord that brings us together. Most of us, as the statement of Imam Talib suggests, that many of us believe in our Lord, but we don't believe what he says. And I think the way that we overcome that is by engaging in what our Lord has said, consulting the scriptures, Quran, Torah, Zabur, Psalms of Dawood, the Injil books of Isa ibn Maryam, and others, Suhufi Ibrahim, wa Musa, etc. So Imam Talib wanted to remind us all, and at least me in particular, that along with Reverend Herbert Daughtry, he is one of the longest serving members of this partnership of faith in New York City. He joined as its first Muslim member in 1992. In 1992, I don't want to say how old I was, but currently I'm a senior citizen.
You look good.
Thank you. Thank you. Allah protects, Allah preserves, Allah is al-Razash. So next month, the Mosque Islamic Brotherhood will be celebrating its 56th year as a congregation, inshallah. Very few establishments of any ilk have been around for 56 years. And of course, that is by the grace and mercy of Allah Ta'ala. As you know, Imam Talib is a student of Al-Hajj Sheikh Tawfiq, rahmatullahi alayhi, who was an ally, and I guess I should use this word carefully, but a comrade, I was going to say co-conspirator, of Al-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz. And so it was that relationship that led to, in part, the development of the mosque. And so Imam Talib suggests that we became actively engaged in interfaith relationships and activities in 1979 under, as he said, the leadership of the founding Imam, Sheikh Alama Al-Hajj K. Ahmed Tawfiq, rahmatullahi alayhi. So Imam Talib, as you know, has exceeded his teacher as the Imam of the Mosque Islamic Brotherhood in 1989. So he's been the Imam almost close to 30 years or more. I gotta give my calculator to figure out the math. But 1989 is about a long time. And in his pioneering work and presence in the spiritual life of New York City, you see him active in all types of events. Most recently, the Muslim ban, you know, this HIV work in the community that affects people of all different faiths. And as a pioneering interfaith leader, as a well-established, has been well-established. So as you can see, the Imam could not be here tonight because of a prior interfaith commitment in Harlem. But as he always does, he sends his prayers, he sends his greetings, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. But he also extends his love and his compassion to all. And so we say, you know, it's not only New York City that is in trouble, it is the world. And if we take a look, not just here, but extend our prayers to everyone, because everyone in the planet is a creature of Allah Ta'ala. Everyone in the planet is of the tribe of Adam alayhi salam. Everyone has been made to dust, made of the earth, and everyone will return to dust. We're all the same. We should pray for each other. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'm honored to our next speaker is our borough president, Donovan Richards, if you of all that may not know, but a very good friend of mine, alhamdulillah. So we're going to say a few words, inshallah, before we close.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. And what an honor to be back here. On my way walking in, I was reminded of when I was running for borough president, this being the last stop for me before the world shut down. This mosque, let me say that again, was the last stop for me before the world shut down over the pandemic. So it's full circle being back here today. Of course, want to wish everybody a blessed Ramadan as we reflect on how far we've come and how far we have to go. And we know Queens is only as strong as the infrastructure we put in place. And we all the infrastructure, human infrastructure. And faith without works, of course, is dead. So we are called at this moment, coming out of this pandemic, to really reevaluate how we're looking at this borough. And will this be a borough that's only for the rich, or be a borough that's representative of us, of everyone, no matter what your socioeconomic status is? So we spent a lot of time and, walking in, I heard about an indictment of a certain person. And then I really thought back to those days of when he was doing the Muslim ban and we had to show up to the airport. And I wish karma on no one, but pray for me. But I will say we have a lot of work that has to be done to make sure that we leave our community stronger. And I want to thank, I see my former colleague here, Idanique Miller, who I technically still work with. We just were in a meeting the other day. But he was the first Muslim elected in the city council. But not only elected, but made sure there was representation for this community at the table, creating the first initiative which funded Muslim organizations around the borough. Give this man a hand clap. That would not have happened without him. It's the way we're leading at Borough Hall in ensuring that we just don't have taxation, but representation across the board, whether it's my appointments to community boards, whether it's other appointments we have, we're really centering diversity and ensuring that our communities are left better than we found it. It's one of the reasons we secured close to $200 million during my tenure, and we've really invested that money thinking about Jamaica. We're gonna announce $65 million in investment to Jamaica Avenue shortly to finally give Jamaica Avenue a facelift. Our communities deserve it. Danique has really planted the seed for economic development here. We're gonna continue to grow here, but that growth has to be inclusive of everyone. So as we think about Ramadan, we're really reflecting, like I said, on how far we've come, how far we have to go to ensure that those investments in healthcare, housing, our schools, that we're centering the places that have been historically disinvested in so that we can leave this place better than we found it for our children, more importantly. I grew up the block from here too. I grew up everywhere because I had young parents. Grew up right here on Hillside in 167. Matter of fact, the apartment was so small, the kitchen was in the bedroom. True story. True story. The bathroom was nearly in the bedroom. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But we made do. We were family. So I want to thank you all for having me. I really pray that you all have blessed Ramadan. I see a lot of friends amongst us here today. May we continue to find sisters. I said a lot about brothers, but I see sisters in the house too. We can, sisters hold us down. But what I want to say is that we are stronger together. We've seen hate crimes. We've seen all ignorance happening around the borough. But the way we break down that borough and break down those silos are together. I want to thank Dr. Musa too for his guidance. My son, I was saying on my way in, part of the pandemic, my son caught, I think it was mild bronchitis at the time. And I came into the hospital. I was in the hospital with my son. We ended up being told we can't leave. And lo and behold, I look up and Dr. Musa's come like, what are you doing here? And he prayed for my son. He's a healthy 7-year-old. So I never forget that. So thank you. May Allah be with each and every one of you, be with your families. May He grant you the desires of your heart. God bless you all. May Allah bless you.
Okay, we'd like to open up the floor for questions. We have all these important people here. We have these religious leaders here. And is there anyone here from Temple Emmanuel first? Please, please come up. Before the question starts.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I am here representing Rabbi Josh Davidson from Temple Emmanuel, and I'm blessed to have some wonderful congregants who have joined me here. And I want to bring his blessings, his greetings, his wonderful wishes for the work and the ongoing partnership of faith that you have created over many, many years. Personally, I'll simply say that I have been at Emmanuel for many years, and it's been my great joy to be there when Rabbi Ronald Sobel established Partnership of Faith. So I've had the benefit of watching it grow, along with the many, many wonderful friendships, and I hope we can continue them long into the future.
We have an important person here who's representing the Speaker of the Council, Speaker Adams, Adrian Adams. We were supposed to have our council member also, Natasha Williams. However, they're on, I guess, a budget crunch, as well as Shillingham and Hyman. They're still stuck upstate in Albany, and the council members are stuck downtown trying to work out how much money they're going to give us. So I'd just like to acknowledge him. If you'd like to say a few words, I mean, you can. If not, it's all right also. That's up to your call. Okay, do we have any questions from any of the audience they want to ask any of the dignitaries that are present here?
Give them all questions to Denise. Assalamu alaikum. Oh, good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak. And as we gather here for this interfaith gathering, I feel that we should have this on a monthly occasion, inshallah, and that will better have us to inform the various communities that we come from. So we can come together like this, not only during Ramadan, but maybe every 2 or 3 months, if not every month. Simply a few hours out of that time, per month. You'd be surprised what we can get done. I'm the vice president of Southeast Queens Muslim Collective, and our organization is based on what we're doing right here, right now. It's to simply help the community at large, not only while fasting, but throughout the year. So inshallah, hopefully, to all the members that are here and that are up front, hopefully we can attain this and continue this on, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Can you think about having that put forth, inshallah? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Mashallah. Anyone else has anything they'd like to ask? We still have a few more minutes before we break fast. And I know that you don't want to hear me sing, so I mean, you can hear my voice now. I don't carry a tune very well, but if we don't start something, I will. Can I rap? You tried to ship me back to the old days. Introduce, who do you want me to introduce? Okay, ICNA members, please stand up first. MGAs, please stand up. My very good friend that just came back from Morocco. I haven't seen him in a moment. Alhamdulillah, I just got off a plane. I mean, I'm really happy to see him, mashallah.
Yes, stand up our one of our recent community officers. They are always here to help us arrange all our activities. Thank you very much for coming. And sisters, you can stand up from your side, and if you want to say your name and church.
I'm Francine.
And your church is which one? Church or synagogue? Temple Emmanuel. Okay, thank you very much for coming.
Jane Gross, also Temple Emmanuel,
And I would like to tell everyone, I was born in Queens almost 80 years ago at Jamaica Hospital. And I think it is so exciting that I now know Queens County has the greatest number of nationalities represented in the United States and the greatest number of languages. And I think that's something to be extraordinarily proud of and happy about.
Thank you very much.
That's right.
And their church, their synagogue is most of the time our host for interfaith programs.
Ramadan Mubarak to everyone.
Asad bhai, can you?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Asad Chaudhry. I represent American Pakistani Public Affairs Committee that we are working to involve our young people and Muslims in the political system of this country.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nader. I'm with Councilmember Natasha Williams. I'm representing her today, and I'm happy to be here. And thank you for everyone for having this.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Attar Sheikh. I grew up in the borough of Queens. I spent all my life here, nearly 2.5 decades. I just want to thank Imam Abdul Baki for inviting me. It's a great experience. Thank you.
My name is Gloria Darwin. I am a member of St. Stephen's Episcopal Church right next door. Yes.
Excuse me, folks, 1 second, Tariq. I want us to give acknowledgement and thanks to two sisters that are back there that are the principal and assistant principal of our school.
Please.
They set this whole thing up for us.
Make sure you.
Yeah, she already,
Okay. You brother, you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Arshad Khan, and I think it's about time to break fast now. Hi, this is Imran Ansari. I represent here Sakat Foundation of America.
My dear friend.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am here with one of the largest masjid in Queens, Jamaica Muslim Center. I'm the joint secretary. We have our president, our general secretary, our vice president, and our former president is with us. And peace and love from Jamaica Muslim Center. And we would love to host all of you in an interfaith in JMC. JMC, not just a Muslim center, we're also a community center. We do varieties of community engagement activities, and would love to host all of you to have an event. And of course, our board president will welcome you to our center as well. Thank you.
Jamaica Center is our sister center. I mean, we are always together in all our work. Thank you for coming. You already ICNA, so I
Yes. My name is Baba Antonio Montesino Cabrera. I'm a Babalao in the Ifa tradition, and I'm very grateful for this invitation by Dr. Muhammad Hatim, a brother of 45, 46 years. I represent the African spiritual traditions, indigenous, and I believe we're all one. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to connect on a spiritual level, and may it be so for more events like this.
You introduced yourself before? No. Oh,
You all know.
Assalamu alaikum. Imam Abdul I don't think we might have enough time for everybody to announce them, so perhaps afterwards when we come back, we can have this continuously, but we only got 2 minutes to break fast.
Yes, before we break fast, the dates are in front of you, water is here. And after that, we have some on my left, spicy food. If you like spicy food, you go to my left tables. If you don't like spicy food, you go to my right on the tables. So we have both flavors.
However, on the far right, please, there is special food there and it's for certain people. If there's anything left over, then you may go get that. But for right now, if it's for the Jewish community, I understand it's kosher food that we got especially for them. So we really appreciate. No one goes to the far right until they get their food. Okay? Thank you. I mean, really, I truly, really appreciate it. We still have a couple of minutes. Am I right, Chick?
Yes. Depends on the clock. Continue.
Okay, and let me introduce another brother who was responsible for us bringing the kosher food here to us, who is my good friend and companion.
Shahid Faruqi. I'm responsible for Long Island from ICNA. So I'm president of ICNA Long Island and working with ICNA from last 20-25 years. And at the same time, of course, learning a lot from Dr. Musa.
Masbeh.
He's our vice president.
I know he is. You skipped him.
I'm from ICNA, but also I work for as a director of MIS HIV and AIDS Services Administration in the city of New York.
And the president of SEQMC, also the vice president of Community Board 12.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Bilal Kareem. I am the president of Southeast Queen Muslim Collective. You're not going to see me in the front. I'm normally in the back fighting with my community to make sure that y'all have the resources that y'all need. Thank you.
Brother Musa, sister.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Asad Jawan, ICNA MGA, and the Shura member. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nazmullah. I'm also a ICNA MGA.
And MGA means they're a member of the General Assembly.
Salam alaikum, Marisa Losi. I'm a member of St. Peter's Lutheran Church.
It is breakfast time, I believe.
Now is the time for individual dua. Please make your individual dua.
Those of you Muslims who are not in Wudu, we know where the hammams are. There's some that's downstairs, some back there, so you can get ready for prayer, inshallah. And those of you who have never seen Muslims pray before, unfortunately, our middle screen, something was wrong with the connection, but you can see on this screen here, or that screen over there, how we pray, what we're going to do after the breaking of the fast. And after that, of course, you can get your food. And we will do some fellowshipping, as we say, right? Or woman-shipping. Human-shipping, okay.
Dear brothers and sisters, now is the time for iftar. Allahumma laka sumtu wa bika amantu wa ala rajulika aftartu bi rahmatika. Our guests can go get their food now. We will. Yeah, absolutely. Both sides. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. We do. May I answer for you? Yes. I will. No, I'm going to take you. Would you like this spicy? Everybody. Okay. I mean, but it's all Muslim food. We have a biryani. We have a fish. Okay.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا أشهد أن لا إله إلا أشهد أن محمدا رسول أشهد أن محمدا رسول حي على حي على حي على حي على الله أكبر الله
Excuse me, brother. Would you like to say a few words about the event?
Oh man, that was such a good event. I came in the last seconds of it, but I can tell it was successful.
And should Markaz continue doing these projects?
Markaz should definitely keep this up. Good idea.
Everything. Yes.
I'm hearing you saying you want to say. You got it.